Kevin Stefanski on ESPN Cleveland this morning. Asked about all the changes to the offensive staff as well as what's behind them.
Every decision is difficult. And when you're talking about people and you're talking about moving on from different
I know you love Davey
coaches. I'll continue to. He's a friend of mine, will always be. All change is hard, any type of change. So certainly when you're talking about any change when it relates to the offense, the defense, special teams, when it relates to coaches, it's all hard. But it doesn't mean that you don't make change that you think is necessary, things that you feel like are in the best interest of the team. And that's ultimately what every decision has been about.
Why do you think this was necessary?
I think for me, offensively, we've done some good things, but I don't know that we've unlocked all of it. So in the effort of we have to get better, there are things that I feel like we need to do to try to get better. And it's not just one thing. It's not changing one coach or changing one type of scheme. Mm-hmm. It's just looking at everything and like we want to get better, period, end of story. How do we do that? Here are some ways that we think we can do it.
Coach, I think.
With that, let's welcome in G. Bush from 92.3 The Fans, the Barbershop, as well as the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And G. Bush, the unlock word that he used, I think is relative, and I think it's important, and I think it's around the skill set of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, listen, he made his rounds, Coach Stefanski did, throughout this morning over on 92.3 The Fan and ESPN 850. And I think some of the things that he said showed you that he is of the mindset that this was something that they needed to do. They needed the offense was good in certain areas. I think last year they were touting that they were going to come with a new offense, and we heard the ways they were going to use Elijah Moore. And I think some of the injuries that they had at quarterback, of course, and some of the injuries up front kind of limited that. But we didn't see that same the playbook that we thought we were. We didn't see those philosophies that they had preached to us last year. So I think Kevin Stefanski went into this offseason and after the season, and instead of saying, "Hey, look, I won Coach of the Year," and Jim Schwartz won Assistant of the Year, and we have all these other good feelings and vibes that we were able to make the playoffs with, he realized something. And even when he realized it in the way that the Cleveland Browns played last year, they go into Houston, and you see what it looks like when you got other young quarterbacks that are out there throwing the ball all over the park. I think that there was a limitation placed on his team based on the style of play. And I talk about it all the time. The Browns have been a team, and they have been a team for the most part since the conception of the organization, where they're more of a ground and pound physical type team. But you look at the AFC and you look what people have done, the Houston Texans and the moves they made, the Jets and the moves they've made. We talk about all those teams, and not withstanding the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Bengals, and the Ravens. I think the Cleveland Browns and Coach Stefanski looked in the mirror and said, the way we play football today is not the way that we have to play in the future in order to beat some of these teams and get to where we want to go. So I think you look at Tommy Rees, you look at Deuce Staley, you look at a new offensive line coach, Tommy Rees, you look at Dorsey. All those are new names, new different thought processes, and it's going to give you a reinvigoration and a think tank of how you want to go about creating an offense that is not just something that could be to win the AFC North, but to compete with the Chiefs and other teams to get to the Super Bowl.